Joining us now is Bishop Mitchell Rozanski of Springfield, Massachusetts. Thank you so much for being with us, Bishop.
Thank you. It's a privilege to be here with you.
We're at the USCCB right now. The fall meeting is taking place, and I just wanted to talk to you. I know you've been on the Ecumenical and Interreligious Affairs Committee for a number of years, and I just wanted to talk to you about that too. I know it's been a big issue here about, creating actually recognizing the plight of Christians in the Middle East and around the country, around the world as well. So I wondered if you could speak a few words on that.
Well, certainly the concern for Christians, while we may think of Catholics being persecuted or members of the Orthodox being persecuted, it really is all Christians, and it goes beyond that too, to the Muslim community and to the Jewish communities there. So here in our country, what we can do is to seek to be the best support we can, particularly to those who are suffering because of their faith, the many Christian communities who are undergoing persecution. And so through our financial support and through the pressure that we can put on our government to help to spread the news of those persecuted Christians and whatever we can do to reach out to help them through our interfaith and our ecumenical efforts really does make a difference and shows our solidarity with them.
And we heard some impassioned speeches too at the meeting, and maybe if you could speak about that too. A lot of people just hear sort of the headlines of some things that are going on in the Middle East too, but there are many different places around the world where Christians are being persecuted too, and how it's sort of like you need to keep on top of so many things that are going on.
And the persecution takes forms in so many different ways. Of course, horribly, for many Christians have suffered the physical martyrdom of dying for their faith with the name of Jesus on their lips, still proclaiming up to the moment of their death that they are followers of Jesus. It takes place in other forms too, in discrimination, in not having the opportunity for jobs. So persecution comes in many, many forms, and we see it throughout the world in those different forms, sadly. So whatever we can do to work together, interfaith, ecumenical communities, to highlight the plight of persecuted Christians throughout the world, we really are making a step forward, not only for Christianity, but I believe for all of humanity.
I'm going to switch gears a little bit now too, but I know you've been an auxiliary bishop of Baltimore and now as a bishop of Springfield, Massachusetts too, and I know you know the work of sisters in your diocese, and maybe if you could speak a word on their behalf as well during the National Sisters Week and the great work that they do in dioceses and communities around the country and the world.
Well, I'd like to share first a personal story and then many other types of experiences in working with the sisters. When I was 14 years old, I received a letter from my second grade teacher, Sister Beata. She's a Felician sister of Lodi, New Jersey. And she wrote to me and included in her letter a prayer card for priest. And I found out that I received that letter the day after Sister Beata died. And I thought, wow, what a affirmation. I was thinking of priesthood then, but to receive that letter from her, to know that she had died, gone home to the Lord, and to receive that prayer card for priest, I think really helped put me over the top to say, this is where my life is going and this is where the Lord is calling me. So from an early age on, the sisters have had a great influence upon my life and definitely upon my vocation. And then to work with the sisters in different parish settings as pastoral ministers, as those who are advocates for the poor, as those who would go out to help families who were in need under the cover of darkness so that nobody knew that those families were receiving that type of help. The work of our sisters is heroic. And as we celebrate this week that it's dedicated to our religious women, I know I join with millions of others who thank them for their witness and their continued love for the church and their continued work particularly with those on the margins of society.
And I know, like, vocations as well for the priesthood too, and how important it is for vocations for religious life as well, and for people to think about maybe joining a congregation, or even just to take a peek and see how they operate.
Well, in so many different ways, we see the sisters, the religious women, whether in contemplative prayer in monasteries or in the midst of our poorest neighborhoods, they are there, they are present. And also to say, too, that those vocations of service inspire other vocations. And I continue to pray and hope that those who are in religious life and in ordained ministry will continue to inspire our young people to say, is the Lord calling me? Should I explore that? Should I take a look at what either religious life or what priesthood is all about?
Well, we thank you, Bishop, for stopping by and talking with us. We appreciate you being able to spend some time.
Thank you. My privilege and pleasure to be with you.